helping to learn the students how to play fairly and support each other, and, you know, characteristics which will carry them through the rest of their lives. So I would say this mission statement covers everything that we need to cover, and I think it states it very well. So I would hope that we would pass this mission statement. That would be.
I honestly don't object to that. I don't think it's worded badly. I just think it's open to interpretation. And if the interpretation is what we're all saying, including social emotional, because there are numerous kids that don't have friends, and they don't. I mean, we had a parent here not too long ago when we were talking about recess, and the issue wasn't so much recess, it was that their friend, that's a big problem for kids, to enjoy school and to learn. And those are the kinds of things I'd like to see encompassed in this. You know, not to slight academics in any way, just as a consideration.
You know, the thought strikes me also, Sharon, on that point. I think a lot of the other words we have in this brief statement include youngsters and adults growing through a social and emotional experience without even saying the words. Building knowledge, positive character. So I don't think it precludes those two elements, and yet it stays general.
So are we saying that we would like to support a social emotional curriculum or something to deal with that as part of the interpretation of this?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that any curriculum, either through guidance or peer leadership or wellness experiences, that can be taught in our K through 12s without being stated here, and I'm sure it already is. Our health teachers.
There's no curriculum at any grade level. Second step is not anywhere at any grade level.
Yes, it is.
You tell me which grade level and tell me if all those lessons are taught at that grade level.
It's in the middle school.
Okay, because you said last time it was at the elementary school, and it's not. I've checked. It's not the.
No, responsive classrooms at the elementary school.
Okay. Which grade level is that?
All
And how often do the lessons happen?
Daily.
Daily?
a morning
At
meeting.
Harwich and at Chatham?
Morning meeting.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I love to hear that. Okay.
Brian.
If we were to, if after the word creative, we were to add the word supportive, would that
That would be very helpful.
Would that be the kind of thing you're talking about?
It would be great. It would be
Anybody
great.
have any thoughts on adding the word supportive? I mean, I'm not trying to have this go, as you say, so we'll have a mission statement for 2017, but.
Safe, supportive, creative, and challenging.
Safe, creative, supportive, and challenging environment.
I love it.
I go along with that.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, your Shaw's supermarket assignment has been removed after that suggestion. Thank you.
Pass.
You're on your toes tonight. That replacement or addition of the word creative and supportive, with that being said, are we in a position to,
Yes.
I'd like to move that the mission statement with the addition of supportive prior to the word creative be approved by this committee.
prior to creative?
Safe,
thought it was-
supportive, creative, and challenging.
Okay. So we have a little alliteration there. All those in favor of the mission statement as corrected, amended, thank you, Brian. Be very careful, Brian. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It is unanimous, thank you. We'll have that cleaned up and then begin to promulgate that.
Do we have enough windows for that extra word?
We'll find a way.
Thank you. Our subcommittee reports, any updates?
we could just, the finance subcommittee met prior to the meeting with the Harwich Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee, so we,
Could you speak louder?
so we spoke at that meeting of a way to incorporate the excess and deficiency and using excess and deficiency to help offset the FY16 budget and in out years. So we kind of modeled if there was rollover and presented that. And I'll let the chairman provide a description of how the meeting went. I mean, I think it went well, in that I think there was a general consensus that that the debt is not part of the overall 2.5% that we have been reminded that we need to stay within, and that there I think the consensus was that has been decided by the voters already. And then Terry and I subsequently met today with the town manager and chair of the Board of Selectmen to sort of further talk about budget and sort of looking out at the January meeting. We'll next meet with the Board of Selectmen the last Monday in January is what we've decided to push that back, which will give the administration and the school committee some time to look at what sort of changes to the program that we would have to put in place to fall within the budget guideline met, or they're listed by the selectmen.
I think Scott summarized it in, by and large. The evening with the Selectmen and Finance Committee, I thought, brought some clarity to our task. They have ordered, and UPS will deliver a brand-new box of sharpened pencils. That was reminded to us, so we're proceeding on. Our Superintendent's Report. That was an attempt at humor, just in case.
I promised some people that my report will end by 8:30, or at least before. Just a couple. I have two quick things, or one quick thing, and then one just sort of longer conversation. First, I mentioned, I believe the last time we met, that there were some 9C cuts that impacted regional transportation for our school district and all other regional school districts. The impact is in the $15,000 range, just under for Monomoy Regional, which in the global scheme of things isn't huge, but still it's a reduction that hit regional school districts. It wasn't a reduction spread out through all schools. So I have a letter here that sort of my letter to the governor that sort of indicates, hey, as the newest region in the state, one of the perks for diving in it is the regional transportation reimbursement. But when you go and cut that, it doesn't really provide an incentive for other districts to follow suit and hopefully find ways to have smaller districts come together to expand opportunities for students. I have on the top of this that I'll just kind of pass and share. This is going around, and today there are 80 senators and reps that caught wind of this and signed a joint letter to Governor Patrick, including, I've highlighted, including Senator Wolf and Representative Peake, to encourage the governor to reconsider this one aspect of cuts. And last but not least on that subject, The Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools, which we belong to, is suggesting that school committees consider supporting a legal review of the law that the regional school districts feel the governor sort of transgressed in targeting regional, the regional transportation, when our interpretation, or the regional school's interpretation, is that, that the law states that it would be an equitable spread, not specifically looking at regional transportation. So the request from the Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools is that school districts and school committees support this review, and if we were all kicking in $500 that would help support a legal review of that. So they are suggesting that school committees consider allocating, for purposes of a law firm to interpret the 2010 law, $500 to contribute to the legal fund. So that's item number one. And then the second thing I have is we had a long chat with the administrators on what sort of slots we
Can I
would
just
have.
ask you on the last thing, is there anything we can do, I mean, since we don't get $1 for serving on this, I don't think that would probably contribute money, but is there any letter or anything that we could do that would be supportive of that? Or is there nothing else?
I can, well, you can write something similar to what I have in here, and there's also the letter that the reps and the state senators have sent. You could send something similar to that to to urge support. Again, I'd encourage us to also support this effort in terms of getting a review, so that hopefully we don't have to go there
Yes,
in the future.
yes.
Is there a time period? I mean, the budget goes back and forth, right, until July, right? So we do have some time to let our position be known as a school committee.
Yeah, I'd say yes, although I think the interesting twist here is in 3 more weeks, it won't be Governor Patrick. It'll be someone else.
Yeah,
Good point.
yeah. So maybe we could at least do that.
Thank you.
One of the things I passed out, this is sort of hot off the presses, the administrators sat down yesterday to talk about how many choice seats should we have available, and I spent a while today sort of mulling some of the challenges that I see potentially coming at the high school, just with the structure of the district. And so let me first raise a little warning flag and suggest one of the things that I'm recommending here in terms of choice and looking at budget. It all kind of starts blurring together. At the moment, we have, if we take our school committee directive to keep class sizes at the elementary school at roughly 18, 3 sections at Chatham Elementary School, 3 times 18, 54 students. 6 sections at Harwich Elementary School, so 6 times 18, 108. Put that together, you have 162 students that potentially, if we're filling those empty seats with choice students, we have 162 students coming in a cohort. And let's assume that we do a great job with this regionalization, and families in Chatham and Harwich want to stay, and we have that 162 keep moving up all the way to the high school. 4 cohorts of 162 students at the high school would be 810 students here. which I believe is about 110 students above what we built the building for. So just something to consider. So one of the things that I've suggested is that we really need to look at Harwich Elementary School, and is there a way that we can start turning down some of the choice? And I've told Sam the last year to limit the number of choice students that we're bringing in the early grades, and we've been doing that. So what were class sizes that were relatively large at Harwich Elementary School are starting to be are now class sizes in the lower grade levels of 18, give or take. What I'd recommend for Harwich Elementary School is that we start considering not bringing in any choice students in kindergarten. And if we do that, there's a good chance that starting in kindergarten, we would go from 6 sections to 5 sections. And if we then have that, those that are in kindergarten go up to first grade, that we can start shrinking Harwich Elementary School down from 6 sections per grade level to 5. So if we were to do that, it would have us at 144 students per cohort, which 5 cohorts of 144 at the high school is 720, which you could feasibly imagine being held within this building. So I think that we structurally really need to look at our elementary schools and get out of the having 9 sections of first grade and second grade and third grade and fourth grade in our elementary schools, but to shrink that down by 1. And we can do that by looking at choice. We can also, I think one of the challenges we've had too is, we have 10 buses that head off to Harwich Elementary School and 3 buses that go to Chatham. If we start to narrow the number of sections that are happening at Harwich Elementary School over time, we could actually free a bus that could go through sections of Harwich to have children that want to come to Chatham Elementary to provide some transportation to help balance off the numbers between the 2 schools. So you'll notice here in the seats that we have available, there's a lot fewer seats that we have available than what we've seen in past years. Part of that was we opened this new building. There were a lot of families that joined Monomoy, and we really don't have a lot of wiggle room to have that same influx this year and have, if we had the same influx next year as we had this year, 2 years from now, we would be over capacity here at the high school, and we have to be careful not to put ourselves in that situation. So what you'll see here is a proposal to have our choice seats allow us to have 54 students per grade level at Chatham Elementary School, to have at Harwich Elementary School to see us start to contract down from what should be roughly 108 students per grade level to 90 students per grade level, starting that at kindergarten. And then ideally, we'll see a sort of a more sustainable, long-term sustainable flow of students coming up to the middle school and then the high school. The other thing that we talked about at the high school administration is, at the administrators meeting, was to look at choice and open up and advertise our choice seats earlier in the school year. Given that we have so few seats, we have at the high school, it looks like we have 1 spot in 8th grade and 5 spots possibly in 9th grade. to open those up in January, advertise, and to recruit early on. And there are families that are at Lighthouse that might not be in Harwich or Chatham that have decisions to make as to what direction, they're going to go. January 16th is when Sturgis does their lottery. So there are families that are at a place of trying to figure out where do they want to go. And I think the earlier we make decisions, I think it puts Bill and his staff in a better place to thoughtfully plan for the next year. And then the last thing that we talked about doing is getting out of the business of bringing in choice students mid-year. So to only bring in choice students, you'd enroll, we bring you in the summertime, and our slots are open next year. We'd have a provision for a student, let's say, that that's going to the high school here, an 8th grader that's going to the high school here who lives in Harwich and the family moves to Dennis. We would go have that student remain with us as a school choice student, but not to have a open enrollment or an ongoing open enrollment. And again, I think that's just for the better of the district overall.
Sharon?
I'm very confused. Last time when we were talking about the budget, there weren't these numbers, they were compiled numbers of an average number.